What's up, everybody? How are you? My name is KyFy. It's so good to meet you. I'm glad you could be here. It's a wonderful day. It's a wonderful night. The moon is out. The moon is very clear today, and that just gets me excited. I'm a water sign. I'm a Cancer. So, you know how we do with the moon. Let's go. What I have for you tonight, well, today, whatever time you may be right now, is a presentation on a whole new way to read tarot in general. Now, I am a listener, but as of today, I'm a reader. And why? I'm a listener, and I've been studying. I've been fascinated with the information that tarot held. So, I've been looking at the tarot cards like, okay, this is divination. And when I found out that it was so much more to it, mainly when I found out that geometry, something that I loved. I'm also a whole nerd, so enjoy that, right? Geometry is something I loved. I was in school for architecture, so geometry really stood out for me. Anytime that I seen it, I would say to myself, okay, that's a very strange room, or this shape can be a room. So just keep that in mind when we go on with this presentation. We're gonna get started. So I have something written out for you guys, and hopefully I can keep up with it. Hopefully I can keep track, because this is not the first time that I did this. This is not the first time. That's all I'm gonna say. Well, not all I'm gonna say. You'll hear some more. But who am I? In order for me to present any information to a whole craft, a whole field of professionals, I consider you guys professionals. All of the readers, even the listeners sometimes, you guys know more, if not the same information as the reader. But, you know, some people are connected and some people are called to do certain things. And I felt like my calling was, I honestly, I still don't specifically know, but I have an inkling, an idea, and it comes with the presentation today. So I'm an innovator, and I'm also super creative, and what that means is any idea that you present to me, I'm going to take it to the furthest of the extent of the idea and tell you what I found. So that means I'm going to use everything that I know to expand the knowledge of that thing, whatever it is. And then I'm going to just tell you what I know. And I have many people in my life where I could just spitball information with. So, you know, thank God for them. The reason why I'm here, and the reason that sparked this whole thing, is this chart right here. I drew this up, and in the middle of an argument one day, this made perfect sense to me. Because if you look at it, you see the letter A, which is aspiration. I wanted to find my peace. There you go. I was looking for my peace. How can I find, what can I do in this world to achieve my peace? That's what I was after. And I did not know I was going to find anything with tarot at all. And this is 2 years ago. This is how God lines you up for your blessing, should you even want to go with it at all. So, you look at your aspiration. Think of any aspiration that you have. You have a fear, which is really sparked by negative factors. Like, okay, say if I wanted to go skydiving, right? I could have a fear of heights, of jumping out of a plane, right? So that's a negative factor. That's going to prevent me from actually doing the thing that I could want to do. Should I want to do that, you know? There are things that I'm neutral about, which is the parachute. I understand that the technology is very good. We're jumping out of planes. We want to make sure that parachute comes out, right? You can look it up. You can do the research. And doing research, you can actually be more neutral to things and not so negative about it. So you'll actually be more inclined to do the thing that gets you to your aspiration. So this is what this was about. So let's move on. Yeah, I think you understand that part. I was trying to figure out a way to present this quickly, because I understand the attention span, but I realized I need to take my time, because if I don't, you won't be able to be with me. I am a person who can take an idea and take it so far. If I don't give you the tools necessary to come with me in this imagination, you will be stuck and you'll be on the next video. So I hope you can appreciate the time it took and how beautiful it's going to turn out. Watch, you'll see. I guarantee you that you'll learn something today. But that's not my goal. My goal is to expand the knowledge that you know already and form it in a way where you can use it. And I'll continue from there. So, what do I love? I'm an idealist, and it seems like puzzles are my thing. I used to play a game, Zelda, everybody knows about it, but those were some of the best puzzles that kind of intrigued me when I was younger. I was always addicted to those types of puzzles. So when it came to tarot, when I first was shown any information about it, of course, you think about Miss Cleo back in the day, and who would have thought I would be sitting here today doing the same thing, right? So you had to go through that in your mind. I had to go through that in my mind. But when I got past it, I realized all of the spiritual information, the esoteric knowledge that's so densely packed in these cards, in the Tree of Life itself. So those are some of the things that I love. I'm a nerd when it comes to all things sci-fi. I'm an anime freak, shout outs to One Piece, Luffy all day, let's go. But yeah. So I realized when I came across this idea, I realized that there are two ways that usually people give divination readings, and that's a magnetic way and an electric way. So the magnetic way is what we're most used to. People are literally, it's like they're taking the words from God to tell you at that moment. That's like that magnetic pull, attraction, connection to God, straight channel, right? And then there's people like me. Now, I told you I'm a reader now, but I had to go about it the electric way. And that's with the information. It has to physically, and I had to see it, and it had to make sense. That was my problem. But it wasn't a problem. It was the challenge that God gave me. So, in taking this challenge, I had some images that I'm going to show you right now. This is the first image that I've seen, and it involves a philosopher's stone. So let me give you some perspective. I have more cards, but it's it's densely packed. We're gonna get through it, right? I felt like tarot or the tarot cards were missing something when I realized the Tree of Life was the key to all information. I listened to a lecture from Nassim Haramein. If you want to look it up, he has a lecture. He has many of them, but there's one called The Black Hole, WHOLE, right? So he talks about how points are spaces, and that was one of the epiphanies that I had. Well, that's one of the things that sparked the epiphanies that I had to create this. You're gonna see it soon. Bear with me. So there's a perspective that I want you to see, that I need you to understand before we continue. And this is how it goes. If information is power, how do you use information? Right? Now, I have 3 slides that are connected to this thing, and I'm going to show them later. But as I learned, the Tree of Life, most readers know all about, in and out of it. They know everything about the Tree of Life because it holds the 22 major arcana. And that struck out to me. Okay, I said there's a system of how to use the cards, or the cards are saying something on this Tree of Life. So that was my first clue. So if information is power, how do I use the Tree of Life's information, which holds all information? Also, you can call it DNA. So imagine how much information that holds, right? So if it holds all of the information, how do we use it? the readers today, you guys use it through readings, general and private readings, right? What you do is, you know, we ask you questions and you give us the best guidance you can according to your connection that day, how you feel, whatever, how we feel, what's connected, what you register, right? I lost my train of thought. Oh, I hope you got it. I gotta move on. All right. Oh, so it holds all the information of the Tree of Life. So how do you use it? What you guys do as the readers, you speak to us, and you use these cards. These cards are on the Tree of Life. So you're using the information from there to give us a message. Should you remember what's there at all at the time? You know, there's a lot of information in the spiritual community in general. How can you always remember the thing to say at that time? It's always like on the tip of your tongue, and that's not a problem, but it's something that can be not fixed, but you can look at it in a different way. That's not a problem, but something you can think about. That stood out to me because there are certain perspectives in your mind, and I found all of them. We're gonna go ahead, right? So Nikola Tesla, he said, if you only knew the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, you would have the keys to the universe. So God told me there's that key word again. The Tree of Life is a key, and 3, 6, and 9 is the key. So I got 2 keys in my mind. I always just kept them in my mind along my, I guess you could say, my quest for information. I kept all of these things in my mind, in the back of my mind. I wrote them down in many places. I got notepads for days. But 369, vibration, frequency, and energy is what I got out of that eventually. And what God told me was vibration is understanding, frequency is control, and energy is not an energy yet, but yet an engine. So something that produces the energy. It's weird. It's weird how it was explained to me, but I understood it. So in the system of tarot, you use your understanding, right? And you are guided through, how should I say? You guys resonate very high, which means you can call on very high information at the time. Let me just say it like that. You can call on the good information at the time, according to how aligned you are, how good you take care of your soul, you know, according to how strong your connection is. You use that connection along with the cards to give us something. So the cards, in a sense, would be not an engine, but something that's put on something. No, let me explain this differently. Nikola Tesla, his quote was, if you only knew the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, you would have the keys to the universe. So there's the key word again. That key word again is what God kept pointing out to me. The Tree of Life is a key. 3, 6, 9 is a key. Because that's what I got out of it. You know, 3, 6, 9 is a key. The Tree of Life is a key. Those are 2 keys that need to go together. For some reason, I'm trying to figure it out. God help me. I don't know what this is yet. But along this journey, I want to show you this picture. What is the source of infinite power? When you hear about it, you think of a physical stone. And I'm going to take this stone right here. This is just amethyst. But imagine this is a philosopher's stone. This is what the world was in search of long ago and still today now. Unlimited energy, whatever you want to imagine it is, right? The philosopher's stone. But it's the source of all power. But we have the source of all information, which is the Tree of Life. And we have another key, which is 369. But I understand now that that's a trinity. So you have the Tree of Life, a trinity, and a stone. Right? How does it all go together? I hope you're staying with me because it's about to get real interesting. Here's the image. This is the Philosopher's Stone in the 2D sense. But when I heard it the first time through anime, it was a physical stone. So now I had another thing to look at. It might have been a key, but I wasn't sure. All I had to go on was this video I seen one day. I still have not found it again. For a flash second, I saw this, and I saw a flash symbol, which means it's a lightning symbol. It's more like a, you know how the flash symbol is a Z, and you keep going, you know, the lightning shape. There was a lightning shape in here, and I hope you can see it. I hope I can draw it out for you. But that was the only thing that stood out to me. But I never knew what it was. But I had all of the keys to figure it out. So let's get there. Full Metal Alchemist talks about how the power comes from your souls, the souls of the people that they were transmuting, right? That's dark. That's dark. But I understood it differently as it is literally soul power in a stone. That's what it was to me. So if this 2D image is soul power in a stone, let me show you the next picture that I found like months later, which is, see, let me get it. The Philosopher's Stone, right? This is what got me. I said, so if this is your soul, but this is a 2D image, and then you have the Tree of Life, which requires a source of soul energy. I had it, but I couldn't figure out how to connect it together because it was, I don't know, it was impossible for me at a point. And then I figured it out. Or God just said, hey, here's the time to figure it out. You learn all you need to know. Now you can move on. Whichever way it worked out, I'm just glad I'm here now. Right? So I found out that that flash symbol was about the Kundalini energy that comes down from the top to the bottom, right? And then I remembered one day it didn't hit me for a very long time. You probably understand it now because I'm giving it to you in order. But that flash symbol was right in, it was right there in my face, looking at me the whole time. The Tree of Life. I'm going to show you one of the slides right now. I'm skipping, but the Tree of Life has this imagery right here. Right? And the Philosopher's Stone, I hope I showed you already, has that other shape that's just the same way. Eventually, it took me a while, but I figured it out. I figured it out. You see the key elements in this picture where you see fire, air, water, earth. Those are the elements you deal with on a daily. Those are the energies that you think about when you're reading. This is giving me fire, this is giving me air. And when you say air, you think of Aquarius, Libra, oh wait. No, I'm gonna get this. I can't even do it. Hold on. Gemini. How can I forget Gemini? My best friend. Jeez. Got too much information. Alright. Yeah. So when you think of air, you think of those signs. And this is some of the things that you speak of all the time. You speak of the ether. You speak of dark energy. You speak of light energy. I'm looking at something right now. Right? You're speaking of light energy. Let me clear this up because I'm about to show you. I'm about to present it now. I'm getting the hype. I'm actually, hold on, give me 1 second. Alright. So yeah. Now I'm back. I got my video ready. Let me just... Right? Okay. Because if I started to talk, that happened to me last time. I was talking for a long time. I had so much good material and then it wasn't recorded. Right? Yeah. So look, Looking at the Philosopher's Stone, you see fire, air, water, earth. Looking at the Tree of Life, you definitely know that there's fire, air, water, earth. So I said, okay, let me figure this out. Salt, sulfur, mercury. Was the Trinity in here? You can see the Trinity. You can see a square. You can see the yin yang. You can see the other sphere, right? Now that's the sphere of the whole. Take a look at this, read through it. I'm sure it'll help. I'm sure it'll help you out right now. I'm sure that there is something for you. But this is the greatest picture I ever ran into. So shout outs to evolveconsciousness.org. I saw the video too, but it had so many other pictures, and I wasn't able to keep up. But yeah, just thank God I found this one. All right, so let me get my paper. So as I said, there is something missing in the tarot, and I've been explaining it the whole time. I said it was the Philosopher's Stone. Now, here is my claim. This is the missing piece to tarot itself. And there's also something else missing. And I'll talk about that in the extended version. I laugh because I get this from y'all. You know, you gotta follow good representation. This is what you do. And I feel like this is my calling too. So, I'll follow the best, you know, until I can find my own way. But until then, the extended version will have all of the tea, all of the information, everything that I'm not saying right now, because you can understand that I'm hesitating. And that's good, because you can understand that there's more. There's so much more. There's so densely packed. So, I would like this to be known as the divine masculine approach to tarot. Right? The reason why is because it's 100% electric. We know about the magnetic being the feminine and divine feminine. Now we need to understand that the electric is the divine masculine, right? So this is the divine masculine approach to tarot. So with no further ado, I present to you the Zin-Finity Board. I'm hyped. I'm super hyped because there's so much to talk about. And for a quick second, I'll just put a flat image of it so you can see what we're working with from the top view, and we're gonna move on from there. Hope you like it as much as I enjoyed creating it. Now, it was redesigned on Fiverr, but I really enjoyed creating this because it made all of the information in my life make sense. All of it. Made a lot of things make sense. It made me understand where I could find my peace, where I can contribute to the world, how I can help people, where I can use my gift. You see, there's so many answers that I'm just saying right now. There's so much more things that I found with using this, with just thinking about it. I know that your third eye is just speaking to you right now. I forgot this one. Right? I know your third eye is speaking to you because let's get to the official description. Let's just get to it. Pay attention to the colors. That's all I'm gonna say for right now. The Zin-Finity Board, or ZiFi for short, I hope you like that name, ZiFi, is a divination multi-tool that allows the reader as well as the viewers to etherically project conscious tarot, a place to see your cards come alive and consciously act out the role they play. Some readers are extremely gifted and can read these cards filthy. Some of you, I just had to follow immediately. I couldn't, right? But what if the cards could put on a show? What do I mean by that? You, as readers, you present a lot of scenarios to us, and that is literally my favorite part. Story time. I don't know. It's just like I can see myself in this role that you present to me, and it just makes more sense when I do that. It's like I'm more connected to the information. I can tell when it's not for me, even though you're speaking to 1 million people, you know. I can tell when it's not for me, especially when it's story time. Oh, yeah, that wasn't me. That was this. Oh, you know. Let's expand on that story time. What if this was story time? But I remember when I said that this is your soul. This is literally the face of your soul. And from now on, I would like it to be known as the architecture of the mind. Easy. 100% easy. And we'll explain it. But let's continue. The Zin-Finity Board was designed to enhance the quality of your readings and adding a sense of role play while offering a unique style of participation with live viewers. It is time to have some fun with the struggle. Right. So look, I played too many games. I played too many games when I was growing up. I play games now. It kind of died down. And now I wanted to create a game. My mother always said, I'm tired of you playing all these games. You should create your game. Ringing in my head. Still, today, right now. Ma, I made a game. But it's not a game. It's the mental map of your mind and every perspective you can ever have. So that means you cannot think outside of this circle. It is impossible. No perspective that you can have can go outside of this circle. Which means, what does it mean? Why is it dark? The reason why it's black is because it's unknown, and that's in the unknown space. And when your soul, which is this circle, expands into the unknown, you have to deliberate on that. You have to go through those experiences. You have to figure it out in order to keep that soul. Call it soul strength. Your soul gets bigger as you learn more lessons. These are basically lessons. And as your soul gets bigger, you learn. This is about expansion. So let's just get that dark spot out. This is the unknown is not for you until you are ready for it. Right? But you cannot think outside of the circle because you don't know outside of the circle. You don't know what you need to know to even take the next trial yet. So, I just went off on that, so my bad. Okay. What the first thing that you see is a regular tarot spread, right? Then you see the information of the Philosopher's Stone that I've been showing you the whole time, right? And then you see the colors. And then when you look deeper, you see the elements. And then when you look deeper after that, you see the tags on each one of these nodes. There are 4 domains of the mind, which is the body, spirit, mind, and soul. 4 domains of the soul, which is the body, spirit, mind, and the soul. Because the soul is there. For some reason, it's just like connected to everything, you know. Like everything is connected to everything. But yeah, let's move on from that. Just thinking about this gets me hype, and I know you can tell, you can see it. I barely know where to start. But what I'm going to be doing is playing the role and being myself, but playing the role of you, the reader, and the listener, but mainly the reader, and what the process of putting all this information together and giving that complete reading. This is the perfect way to read tarot. The perfect way. Because you have the infinite information, and then you have the infinite power. Yes, it's all two-dimensional, but you see what it's done so far. You see the information that it's unlocked so far, just with the Tree of Life. Right? I was about to spill information, but I can't jump. I can't go too far, right? So where am I with this? That flash symbol, that electric symbol, is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It was staring at me right in my face. So let's bring out the first slide, which is basically just an infographic that I set up to be aligned with this perfectly. So all of the colors with everything I created match up, as well as the numbers and the wording and the information that's aligned with it. I don't have to teach any of the readers and a lot of the listeners about the Tree of Life information. You understand where the 22 arcana, the major arcana are, the 22 paths, right? Now the Sephiroth is a different story. There are 10 Sephiroth, right? Let me just say this real quick. There's a philosopher, don't ask me their name, but what they said was, specifically about the Tree of Life, there are 10 Sephiroth, not 11. 10. Not 9, 10. That was the whole quote. And it was set just like that. So they meant that. They meant that. But I can count. Thank God, right? So let's count together. I'm doing this not to challenge that guy, but to point out that there is something off. There is something off about the Tree of Life. Nobody talks about this. It's missing and it's not there. And it's there. You clearly see it. Right? We're going to skip over it first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not 11. Just not. But it's known as the void, Da'at, right? But from now on, I want y'all to know it as a Tada space. Like Tada, because it's the space of the information is where you get extended. For some reason, God gave me some kind of dyslexia when I read it and I looked at it and it said Tada. I was thinking completely backwards for some reason and I just got it that way. So it's not Da'at to me, it's Tada. Moving on. Yeah. Alright. So let's connect the Philosopher's Stone to the Tree of Life right now. So you can see 11 points, but it's 10. But let's just say you see these 11 points right here. Let's start with Mount Coop. And we're going to show the symbolism and the sacred geometry of these spaces too. So let's get with it. When it comes to Earth, this is represented by the cube, or known as the hexahedron, right? It has 6 sides, and it represents the energy of Earth, represents everything about Earth, right? So let's put this up here, and this is the space of Malkut, right? Remember that Z shape? We're going to go up this Z shape and figure out all of these nodes. Call them Sephiroth, call them nodes, call them points, call them spaces for cards. Anything you want to understand, you're placing your cards onto these spaces. And that's what you're reading. So say if you put a 10 of cups here at this space, you will be guided to tell me or a listener or anybody who, you know, who wants to know what that tells you, what that means. You have the 22 major arcana, and then you have these 11 right here, right? But then you have the 14 cards in each element. The ace through the king. 15? 15 cards in each element. The ace through the king, right? 14. Yeah, my bad. But, yeah. So, you get through 1 through 10, right? And then when you reach 10, here's where I want to switch to my next slide. Where it made sense to me. Like I said, I'm not going to teach you anything you don't know. I'm just going to form the information in a way that you've never seen it. Hopefully. Because if you see it this way, you'll understand that this is a masterpiece. Masterpiece. And it's offered on Etsy, right? You know, you can find everything that you see here on Etsy. It will be there. The links will be in the description. And I want to just point out something real quick. This information is so densely packed. It is impossible for me to tell you everything about it. And I'm a perfectionist. I did not want to present this because in my idea, this was supposed to be an app. I see all of the readers in a throne. I see you in a throne that you should have been occupying in the first place. And your throne is in the kingdom of the mind. You guys operate in this field all of the time, and you didn't know it. Or you did know it. You know, I'm not limiting anybody to not knowing this information. Like I said, I'm not teaching you anything. I'm just pointing out that this is the best way that tarot is ever and will ever be read. You know, besides your spiritual gifts. You know, your talents can take you over this. See, look at that confirmation. That motor, whatever. Your talents will take you way farther than this. Understand that this is the electric way. But you feed it with magnetic energy. You feed it with that divine feminine energy. That masculine energy is all about action. That feminine energy is about like more deliberation. You know what I mean? We're thinking, and I just want to keep it like that. I don't want to go too far into it. I gotta continue. See, I can lose track anytime. What I was going to say before I go on, basically, I have a Cash App, and then I have a GoFundMe for the progress of the app. The app will be out when I get the support for it. So this is why I'm showing the community today. Because if I present this to you in a way where you can understand it and where you would want to be read from it, imagine where this can go. As I said, I saw you in a throne. Trust me, the throne I got lined up for y'all is ridiculous. You will never be able to read tarot the same again. Never, ever, ever in your life. You will never even be able to see it any differently. After you see this, a lot of the things that you might have problems with your craft in general, I almost guarantee that it would make sense here, right? So I want to ask you to get your cards, and you can place cards in this order that you see right here. It's not very complicated, but you need the diagram to actually decipher what it's saying to you. Because if you don't do that, you're just drawing cards. And that's the special thing about it. All of the readers just draw cards. Sometimes, I'm attacking y'all. Oh man, I want to attack the readers who just be drawing cards and just spitting gems all day. Draw your cards here. I promise you, I'm about to say you will make more money. But you know, we gotta live. I promise you that the readings will just have so much more quality. And I'm not saying that you don't present quality. My goal is to make it better. My goal is to make it so precise, so correct, so clear, and so specific that me as a listener, right, will have no choice but to acknowledge the information and take action. And that's the point. God wants us to take action. And that's literally your job, is to get us to take action. That's what I get from it. And thank you for being there, because look at me now. I would have never taken this action because I was never even exposed to the information. I don't even know what to say about that. But look, let's get this 1 through 10. In the Tree of Life, you already seen the 1 through 10. So, in math, when you draw a grid and you draw an axis, at the center of the axis you have 0. And this is why I placed da'at here, or tadat here, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nothing you don't already know, but nothing that's talked about or something that I have not ran into by mistake or on purpose. I looked for it. Was the fact that this is the pages. The 10 is like a flip side to this, but it's actually 2 different forces. This is the mental force, and this is the physical force. So the mental force is the 1 through 10, and you can go through that cycle. But then there's a physical force when you have to act. So, I don't know if that helps people out. I don't know if that helps anybody out. But it helped me out because I understood that the pages, the knights, the queens, and the kings kind of overlap the whole process. So you go through the mental process in your head. And then you have like the, not stencil, but you have the roadmap to what you need to do. And then the trials that you have to go through. So it's like you have to go through it in your mind first, and then you have to do it in the world. But that's what this gave me. So I can move on from here. Let me just call out the Sephiroth, just to do that, right? Da'at, Crown, Hokmah, Bina, Chesed, Geburah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malkut, right? For some reason I had to do that. And this is the root chakra, Malkut, Seku, Yesod, Hod, and Netzach is solar plexus. Tiferet is the heart. Chesed and Geburah is the throat. Now, people might say it's not, but I just want you to hold off on your assumptions for now. I'll explain why. Bina and Hokmah is the third eye. And then you have the crown, which is, crown energy, crown chakra. And then you have the nothingness, which is Da'at, or the void of information, the black hole in the middle of the universe, whatever you want to call it, right? So that's enough with that. Now, this is the information on the spaces to draw from. I hope you're still with me. If you are still with me, thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. I'm KyFy. I'm glad you can be here. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Share it with your favorite reader, because that's who I'm after. I'm after the readers, because they're the ones who are going to read this for you. And I'm here to spread the word about it. Basically, I have that GoFundMe. Imagine if you shared it with your reader and somebody said, okay, I want to see this out now. It will only help the process out, because I have it all lined up for you. I got your soldiers lined up. Oh man, it's all chess. Oh man, it's all chess. But let's move on. As I said before, the GoFundMe funds will go straight to the process of the app. The creation of the app, and the Cash App will go towards my channel. And yeah, let's move on. This right here, will show you slides of this, of all the information on here. I'm gonna show you slides as we pluck cards. But let's go through some of the spaces. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, I stopped on Malkut to explain that. So excuse me for that. We're gonna continue with that right now. Let me get some water. Guys, it's dying over here. Alright. So I left off at Malkut being the earth, right? Then you have Yesod, which is the water. You have Hod and Netzach, as I just told you, which is the fire. I hope you can see this clearly. I tried to get the best view possible and also show my face, because I understand that's important too. As a listener, seeing your facial expressions help me a lot, because I read facial expressions, right? When it comes to air, Tiferet, right? Now here's where Geburah and Chesed is the throat chakra, or Akasha, or ether, right? How should I explain this? The domain of the soul is in a different place than the physical world. The energies that are past or that supersede ether are inside of you. Or meaning, like, say, how should I describe it? Inside, meaning when you go within and go without. There's a split off between the ether, and that involves the wall. Now, we all know about the veil. Or hold on. We all know about the door, the veil somewhere, and then the wall, right? In regards to the Philosopher's Stone, the door is right here, the veil is right here, and the wall is here. And it's the wall of the mind. You have to understand that. We only can see as far as we understand. And that goes with your understanding of your soul too. So I really hope you understand that, because it's very hard for me to explain it. It's kind of like a knowing of who you are, and you are connected to it, so you realize it. And you know, I don't know. It's like a special connection. But let's move on from that. Water is represented by the icosahedron, and that is a 20-sided geometrical shape with triangles, a whole bunch of trinities, but whatever. Then you have fire, which is represented by the tetrahedron. I know it's a little mixed in, but whatever. Is represented by tetrahedron, which is 4-sided shape. And then you have the air, which is the represented by the octahedron. It's an 8-sided shape. And for no reason, I'm just gonna mention that this holds the circle the most. This square and the octahedron are the two shapes that hold the circle the best. But you know how they say, oh, that was perfect. Okay, I got it, guys. I got it. Do you think outside of the box? Now, this is the box that they talk about, that you're thinking inside of. We were missing as a collective, as a spiritual community, as a whole world, missing a connection to the Trinity, to God. We were missing that connection. We were all thinking inside the box. The world now is stopping us, or trying to stop us from thinking outside the box. But that's not allowing us to use all of our abilities to our advantage. We're not using the whole scope of our power, with them keeping us constrained like that. So moving on from that, you can understand that they use this in math, square the circle, right? This is the next circle to square. So it's almost like evolution. Spiritual evolution, Christ consciousness, whatever. Yeah. So, yeah. When it comes up to ether, it's represented by the dodecahedron, and it is 12-sided. It's the space that holds everything. It's the shape that represents the space that holds everything. So, in a sense, I think this would be the representation of the wall. It's not an actual sphere, you know what I mean? It's represented by this shape. Everything fits in here somehow, some way, you know. You know how mystical this can get. But let's put this over here real quick and move on from there. When it comes to the third eye, we have desire and will and ether. Let me explain that very quickly. This is the house of spirituality, and this is the house of self. When it comes up to yourself, what do you think of? It's more ego, right? And when you think of your spiritual sense, you think of course, the spirit. But for some reason, the information on the tree of life is reversed onto here. So it's almost like this would match perfectly, like mirrored. It's weird. You know how mirrors reflect in that strange way? That's how it would fit this perfectly. Because the dark is on this side and the light is on this side. But when you look at the tree of life, the dark is on this side, the light is on this side. when you look at Gebuda and Chesed, when I talked about the domains of the soul going in, these two right here represent duality. Duality, which is the second chakra. Or, not the second, but it's the second from the crown. And duality is a scope. It's not really constrained by anything. It's the scope of everything, right? So think of these two as more of the pillars itself. The pillars are Boaz and, oh man, let me open my computer because I keep forgetting. It went to sleep on me. It is Jachin and Boaz. Jachin is the light pillar, Boaz is the dark pillar. So they reverse on here. So left is right and right is left when you look at this. That's important to understand because it frustrated me. Imagine having to understand everything that you know backwards in order to place it here. But I like puzzles, right? God was like, oh, you like puzzles? Here, I'll give you one. Gebuda and Chesed. This has to do with the desire of self, and the will of the spirit. Right? Does that make sense? Alright. Hopefully it does. I don't know why that pauses or whatever. Yeah. And when it comes up to the ether and why this is da'at, right? Now let me explain something to you. Let me put this up. Put this back. The reason why this is da'at and or ether is because as I said before, the scope of your knowledge determines how big your soul is and what you have to actually deal with in this world. So the void is known as a place of infinite knowledge. And this is why all aspiration, as I said before, remember this aspiration? You see how it looks kind of similar? It looks kind of similar right now. I dated this March 9th, 2020. And it never changed since it started. The shape never changed. It just added on to itself. I knew I had something, and that's why I started my company. My company is named Echo Kyber. I love the name, and it's loosely translated from Kemetic text. And what it means is the echo of the soul, heart, and eternal essence. So I knew I had something to go on, but I couldn't figure it out, and I needed to learn. I needed to take the time. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad all of the trials came in my way because I needed that time to learn what I actually needed to know to move on. Had I exposed this early, it wouldn't be ready for anybody. And it probably would just get looked over. That's not the masterpiece that it is. This is the long lost sister, brother to Tarot itself. You should take another look at it. Right? It's almost, and if not the same, holds the same importance as the Tree of Life, because this is source power. This is the face of zero. I wasn't even going to say it. But if that means something to you, then it was for you. Alright. So, I have rules to this game, this setup, the way I believe it should be read. But who am I to constrain you to anything? Do what you want. You know, you're going to have your own style. I had an order. I have an order. But the order is specific to the energy coming straight from the Kundalini down to the root and back up. That's the order that I created. And that's the order that I lined up these numbers for you to explain correctly and go with God step by step, bringing that energy down, bringing that clarification down, bringing those examples down to help us get rooted. And then we use our actions, and we use what you told us. We use the motivation you gave us to use our potential to reach spirit, to get that connection with spirit. So that's mainly the reader's job, is to get us to action. So, but you choose to do that in whichever way you wanted to, and using these spaces, you can do that however you needed to. So I hopefully, one thing after ether, there's third eye, the third eye chakra, and then there's the crown. Obviously, you see what the crown is. This is Akasha. I like to call it Akasha. For some reason, that was meant. Hopefully that helps somebody. But I'm gonna move on from that. As I said, there are 4 domains: the body, spirit, mind, and soul. The soul has 3 parts. The superconscious, in this space right here, is determined by these 3 shapes, these 3 points right here. Every 3 points create a space. That's geometry. So it runs here too. And you'll be able to determine what it is when you keep taking a deeper look. Okay. Why am I holding this up? All right. Okay. I guess I was finished with it. That's why. So let me move on. Now, what I would like to do is present the cards in a way where you can understand it. Hopefully you already had your cards. You probably went through it. You probably had a trial run already. But we're going to go through the actual run right now. And, well, let's start from here. First, you have to retain the information that's here. So let's do a little bit of that right now. I'm going to explain some of the spaces. But before I do that, I'm going to shuffle and place cards face down to save time, because I don't want to just wait on the cards to flip like I would like to, because this is how God shuts you up. I didn't even shuffle, but I shuffled like 30 times before we started, so that's the only thing I can tell you. So there's this. I guess I just keep going. I guess I just keep going and keep talking about it. So some of the things you need to do. One of the things that you need to do is understand the spaces and what the information holds on each one. So let's start with the root. No. Let's start in the order I created, from 0 to 12, back to 0. So you go to 12 and then reverse from 12 back to 0. I hope that makes sense. You deal for 0 through 12, and then when you reach 12, you can clarify for everything. Or I'm going to just stop right here because there's something else. But let's continue. When it comes up to the crown energy, this is what it says. Every space has laws and objectives. Every space has a law, a sense, a psychological function, a right, meaning like, because you are a soul, because you have a right to do something. God gave you the right to do something, and this is what it is. There's a challenge, there's an objective, of course, since there is a challenge. There's an identity, and then there's the chakra, of course. When it comes to the crown, we're going to go from top to bottom, and I'm going to draw cards each time so you can understand what the card is telling you. So you see the 2 of Pentacles, right? This is earth energy as your center. This is your essential nature. So think of it as like, if you were a planet, this is Earth. This is the actual planet that everything is going to be taking place on. And you have your forces, you have your energies, you have everything you need to rely on. Let me just explain the forces really quickly, right? There's a plus sign and a plus sign here, represented by the moon and the sun. But these 2 right here is mental energy. This is the line of mental energy, which is the veil, right? This is the line of physical energy. This is the line of light energy or electric energy, divine masculine energy, right? This is the line of divine feminine energy. When it comes up to here and here, this is about going within, which is the dark space, and going without, which is the light space. Going within is a mental process, and it requires a lot of deliberation. Just think of it that way. It's your power of thinking. But it's not just thinking, it's more knowing. This is the space of thinking. This is the space of acting. This is the space of knowing. Hope you caught that. Alright, so I think I have the go ahead to move on right now. Is there a card flip over? Thought I just saw some color. Let me officially shuffle these in front of y'all so y'all know I'm not cheating. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. If this means anything to you, the readers right now, hope you can take a look at it. Bottom of the deck, you have the Tower, and I guess the seven of Wands, but I held it in the reverse position. But I'm not gonna be reading reversals because it's a little bit too complicated for me. But I'll explain what it means here. Right now. Alright, so let's shuffle these. Y'all don't talk about how to shuffle and the kind of mind fuck that happens. Excuse my language. So, if you don't do this right, everything will wind up upright and downright and upside down. Everything will wind up everywhere. I'm used to regular playing cards. I play spades. So you just flip the cards anywhere. If you want your cards upright or in a singular direction, you really have to draw. You really have to shuffle in a certain way. So, 8 of Wands in the bottom of the deck this time. I'm not going to go into the explanations right now because that would take way too long. I'll wait till we get all the cards here. But you can do it along with me to help me out, to help us out. Put it in the comments. I plan on doing a live video presentation of this on YouTube, whatever it's called. I forgot the name of it. I've been looking into so much. But I plan to release this live on YouTube. So you guys can speak to each other in the comments. Like I said before, like, share, and subscribe to help me to get on the map. For the people who are still here, you understand that this is something that needs to be, honestly, needs to be used. At least once by all readers. Until you experience it for yourself, you won't be able to tell if it's for you or not. You would just be able to only judge. So, let's get to it. Everything you can see here, you'll find on Etsy. 3 infographics that you see, you can also find there. And also, this is made on polypoppin fabric. It's a great fabric for the design, and it makes the colors pop out very well. And like I said, hopefully you like what you see. And let's move on. There's a lot of symbolism in here, and I don't think the artist knew when she redesigned it. I don't think the artist knew what she was doing, but I lit a candle for her. She didn't know that. I lit a candle for her. She was probably going through the works making this. Like, why am I concentrating so much on a circle? It's just a circle, God. I just want to finish this. I don't know what could be going on in her mind, you know. Oh yeah. Let's start pulling for the next one. So, let's bring up the crown again, because I know I wasted mad time. Not wasted, but let's bring up the crown again. So you see the law for the crown energy, the crown space, the 2 of Pentacles right now, which is the center. Imagine this is the earth, or you as your whole soul. Whichever way you want to understand it, that's you. It's what you gravitate to. Yeah, the law for the crown is mentalism, or oneness, whichever one you want to call it. The sense that you get when you're there is empathy and unity. These are senses that you can actually use. We use that sense all the time. Not so much the unity sense, because there's a lot of selfish people out here. Low vibrational energy is the energy of survival, and that's a everybody for themselves energy. So we're actually weaning off of that energy as a whole. right now. We're weaning off of that energy. We're understanding that we are one, and that's beautiful. Because a person like me back in the day couldn't get any of this information out. I knew this, couldn't tell. I had no words to describe what I was thinking until like 4 years ago. Crazy. No words to describe my spiritual connection with God. None. You might think that it came from Christianity, but in honesty, it only brought a lot of questions to me, because I'm a very scientific-minded person, and if you can't answer my scientific questions, you can't help me. You can't help me. And these are questions I never... I don't even know why I'm talking about this. Let's just get back to it. But you understand what it is. Look at the confirmation. So, the psychological... okay. The psychological function for the crown energy, the two of... I have it upside down. Let me say that again. In regards to the crown, the psychological function, meaning like your mental function, is awareness and understanding. So, I hope you understand that. That's your mental function. You have a mental and a physical, right? Your physical function, meaning the things that you do physically, is like the force. You kind of think passively, but you can think physically too. Like you can think, I don't know how to explain that. It's passive thinking and active thinking. I think that's the best way. But yeah. The rights that you have in regard to the crown energy is to know and to learn. And that involves understanding. You understand that. The challenge is attachment. So you know what's good and bad for you, right? And we all have vices. That's an attachment. And you are doing that for a specific reason. And as a reader, you'll be able to find that reason. There's no question that can't be answered here. There's no question that can't have a focus on what the actual problem is here. There's nothing left out. And this is why I want the readers to take a second look at this. There are so many readers that just keep drawing cards. I want you to look at this, because you'll get the answer that you're looking for as a reader. You won't be all over the place. That's a problem I noticed. But as a listener, I don't care. I'll be waiting until God tell me to listen again when I lose track. And I wait for my lesson. I wait for it. So imagine if it was a lot clearer. You can clear it up with this. I only got one card down and I can't even get past it, because there's so much to tell you. So much that I'm just letting flow out right now. I guess I needed to do it. Okay. So obviously the objective, if you're attached, is to detach, right? And the identity is the universal identity, aka we are all one. So let's move on from the crown. I hope you got your... This is sturdy energy. Slow. Decisional. You weighing your decisions. Slow decision making person. But the thing is, it has a balance of the yin and yang. It's kind of funny that it's right here. So I think that's a good match. So if you got that idea too, you'll understand that. The goal here was to be able to read exactly how a professional reader that's been reading for years, to say almost everything that they would say with only information. But it's the brute force way to get what you need out of it. And this is why we need readers who are really connected, who are divinely connected, to tap into this information. I already know that I'm not going to be the best one who reads out of this, but I guarantee you, the reader who is the best, I'll probably say something about it. I'll be like, oh, they're good, they're good. And I'm waiting myself to see some readers and see what they get out of this. Oh, I can't even move on past number 1. Let's go. When it comes up to the area, the domain of the soul, it involves the same space. So your center is like, has 2 parts. Your center has 2 parts. The crown and the center. I don't know if that makes sense and not at the same time. But when you think about it, it makes sense. It's hard to figure it out. But yeah, when it comes to the information for the soul, domains in general. Domains have fuels and domains have factors and faculties, right? So there's something that a domain can do. There are things that affect the domains, and there's something that fuels the domain, meaning like something that say it eats or it needs to survive, right? For the soul, it needs fire. Now, when it comes to, how should I say this? Let me see. When it comes up to the zodiac, which you guys talk about all the time, this is an earth card. And that could be good if I'm an earth sign. You never know. You'll be able to tell from these forces here. You would have to think about this grid. It is an electrical grid. When you place your cards down, the energy is manipulated. And that gives you the answers of where the blockages are. And should the blockages be removed by your words, you saying what you needed to say during that reading, or our actions, we can get our power back. We can get our power flowing to create something. In the ether, it's going to come down mentally first before it's created. You co-create it with God, and then you do things to manifest it in the world. And, to get your abundance and all that other good stuff. Yeah, let's just move on. The fuel for the soul is fire, naturally. Is the domain, or I should say, is the world of emanation. This soul right here, this soul space is the world of emanation. And it's also called absolute, right? So the world of emanation is, the fuel for it is the fire. The factors are basically everything, but the ones that you need to pay attention to are will, desire, mind, and body. Mind, body, and spirit, right? These domains affect this domain very well. These domains have a high effect on your soul. So if your spirit is out of whack, it will have a high effect on your soul. If your mind is out of whack, it will have a high effect on your soul. Honestly, everything is connected, but your soul is the source of everything. So if your power is being messed with, you understand that you don't have there's definitely something blocked. There's definitely something out of place. And as a reader, you'll be able to tell it. So every place, every card slot has an affinity. And when the affinities line up, you'll know, you'll get good vibes. And when they don't line up, you'll get bad vibes. Not bad vibes, just off vibes. And these off vibes will lead you to what you need to say next. Hopefully, that's the idea. There you go. So, this is for the first space. And that is the 4 of wands in your dark space. Now, the dark space is... First, let me continue with the soul. I was just plucking. The faculty is the intuition. You have imagination and intuition. That involves the same faculty of thinking. Or not thinking, but it's your soul's faculty. Your mind, you can think. Your spirit, you can feel. Your body, you can touch. With your soul, you can be intuitive and you can imagine. And you can hold knowledge and all this other stuff. So that's your soul's power, is to be intuitive. It's almost like instinct, but whatever. So let's move on from the soul. I gotta start speeding up. And go to dark. Now, for the area of the dark, you have the 4 of wands. And that is a fire card. Now, when it comes up to the dark, this is the area of Bina. So Bina on the tree of life is on the dark side. And for now, just know it as the head of the pillar of Boaz. Severity. I forgot which one it is. It's severity and something. Hold on. I'm very particular with that. I always forget. Mercy and severity. Mercy is on the light side, severity is on the dark side. So this is severity. Not that it's bad to have fire here, because you have earth here, which is when it should be fire. So maybe God has some work for you in order to change this up and for it to be less indecisional, so you can make some decisions. You got some work for you to do. Flow 4 is foundation, so that's a good number to have in that space. You know, as a reader, you can keep going, and this is why I had to continue. So when it comes into the area of the dark, you have the law of correspondence or duality, the sense of intuition. You know, intuition runs both ways with your third eye because it's still inside of you. Outside is everything in the ether. Inside is everything in your mind. Your mind is in a different dimension. Like, it's almost like your mind is in a different dimension. Your body, when you look at your body, when you feel your arms moving and stuff like that, right? Where's the center? We know it as our third eye, right? We know it as our pineal gland, right? But think of that as, this is how I understood it. Think of that as the point where you need to go in. That's the point of entry. Oh man, this is so hard to explain. If there was a point in your body that you can call your center, that would be it. In your mind. Let me move on, because it's gonna get too confusing. I could go on forever. Oh man. So, dark is the sense of intuition. Okay, continuing with the dark area, you have to understand that it's Bina, so it's this space right here. I didn't put it here because it would have been better viewed over here like this. But, you know, God is funny, so he lined something up for me. I call it the Zin-Finity Board. And it wound up to be 2 triangles. One up, one down, right? And then an infinite logo right here. And this is the reason why I made this symbol this way. Because it's literally this. Just look, when you look up from a top view, you can see the infinity sign, and you can also see the Merkaba, right? Up and down triangle. Hopefully, I'm not just pointing at random things on a camera. You're seeing this correctly, right? Yeah. Yeah. So as for dark, you have correspondence as the law, the sense of intuition, the psychological function of imagination, right? The right to see, the challenge is illusion, and the objective is reality. So, of course, there's lies all over the place. And it comes in forms of illusions too. It doesn't have to really say anything. You can see something that's false, right? So the objective is reality. Usually truth clears that up. Your truth will clear up your reality. Honestly, thinking of the present time, the present moment, will clear up your reality, because you're not thinking about the past because you're here right now. You're not thinking of the future because you're here right now. It's a lot less for your mind to actually process. This is where you can control your energy and only think about the present time. But yeah, the identity is the archetypal. So think of that as more your zodiac and your ego personality. Is those two things mixed together. So I think I skipped it, but this is the subconscious. This is the domain of your soul, and it has 3 parts, right? This is your superconscious, this is your id, and this is your ego. So id, think of this as the space of your zodiac. So whatever sign that you are, I'm a Cancer sign. So my id is going to be water. You understand that? My ego could be something else, but you never know what it is. But my id is definitely going to be water. I hope you understand that. Yeah. Yeah. So let's move on to light. And what you'll find is that it's dual. It's duality. So it's the light side of things. One is magnetic, one is electric, one is light, one is dark. You understand these energies? I don't have to really divulge into that too much. Yeah, we could just move on from here. But let me draw the card for light in the first place. And then I can move on. I think I'm gonna just, oh no, this is all flying out. So as for light, you have the Lovers. The Lovers is an air card. It's a good place to have, no. The Lovers is an air card. And in the sense of light and dark, you will want to have air and water over here, and you will want to have earth and fire over here. The reason is it involves more action on the light side, more passive action, passive action on the dark side. It has to do with the energies and the affinities with the elements. The elements want to be in the place, but if they're not, it shows you what's off. So as a reader, you can tell us what's off, what's wrong, what's up. You can tell us what the problem is. So we have the Lovers in the light position. We also have this dual decision making right here in your center. So we can see where this is going. This is I'm seeing binary right now. So, yeah. Okay. We have the Ace of Cups. It came out reversed. But like I said, I'm only doing upright right now. So the Ace of Cups is in the place of ether. Ace of Cups is water, right? And ether houses all energy. So any element that comes here doesn't really throw anything off, but it can weigh to one side or the other, or it can balance it out. It depends on what the board shows you at the last, when everything is complete. So we'll see about that later, if it's in balance or a balance or not. But this is an Ace of Cups. Talking about cycles is complete. So whatever, it's also showing the water falling down, which is a great thing. Because if the water's falling down, understand that this part right here is being fed by the Ace of Cups. So that's a great sign. Your spirit is being fed by the Ace of Cups. And then, if it's too much, oh wow. Wait, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was 5 streams, okay. But there's 4 staves, 4 fire staves, and 5 streams of water. If that makes any sense to you, if that helps you out, let's do that. Let's go with that. Yeah. Alright. As I said, it's a very good card to have in that position. And it's in the place of Da'at, which is ether the void. So making these connections while you place the card is going to give you that recollection that you need. That information. So what I just did was, for the crown, I put the 2 of Pentacles right here. For Hokmah, sorry, let me read Binah first. For Binah, I drew the 4 of Wands, right? For Hokmah, I drew the Lovers, which is this right here. A major arcana came out when it came up to the light energy. That's a very good sign. Major arcanas are always a good sign to me, honestly. When they come out, those are like action. I don't know. I'm very connected to major arcanas. Yeah. Major arcana cards. hopefully that helped it out a little bit with the explanation. But I need to move on. Ether, which is the eighth of cup, eighth. Ether, which is vibration, which is represented by vibration. The law of vibration also has the sense of touch, psychological function of communication, the right to speak, the challenge of lies. If you can speak, you can lie, right? Let's go. The objective is naturally honesty. Be honest with yourself, you'll find more truth. The identity is creative. People are so creative with their lies. Do you really know what you want when it comes up to your aspiration? Understand this is the place of our aspiration. This is your direction. You're using everything that you have to go in this direction. When it comes up to your senses, let's do that right now. No, let me say it again. The earth has to do with the sense of hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, and touching. And then you have your third eye, which is your intuition, right? And then you have your empathy right now, right here, which is your sense of unity, and it's divided. That's what it seems like. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't channel right now. How about that? Yeah, let me just do more presentation. Alright. So after ether, you have 4, which is desire, represented by Gebuda, right? So this is, think of this as your instinct, and your instinct is fueled by your heart and your feelings. So I hope that makes sense. Your heart knows what it wants, and you can feel, and that gives you an instinct of desire. So you have a point of desire. This creates this, right? I hope that makes sense. So your fuel for this port of desire would be air and water. That made sense, okay? The factors would be, everything is a factor, but the factors would be spirit and body. So if your spirit is in order, your desires are in order. And if your body's in order, your desire, you can look for certain things. You probably need to desire to fix yourself before you can desire to grow. You probably got, I hope you understand that. And this also represents the pillar of mercy. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, the cards is not coming out for you right now. Okay, that one wanted to pop out. So it's the King of Cups. Great card to have in your desire area, because it is the water. It's either water or air that should be here. So that's a good sign. So let's move on from there. Hopefully you're getting the knowledge that you need to get concerning this card in this space of desire. But moving on, we're going to go to your will. And your will, the fuel for it, if you understood the last explanation, will be fire or earth, right? Your fire or earth. Your fire is basically your action to do. And this is your action to hear or feel. No, not hear, feel. So your sacral chakra has to do with your rhythm, right? And your root chakra has to do with your generation or what you create. So your rhythm and your creation creates the space of your will, or the identity of your will, driven by your ego, right? So your will and your ego are one and the same. And your spirit and your id, or your zodiac, is one and the same too. Because your spirit speaks through the channels that it can reach, right? And the channel that we came from is your zodiac sign. So it's like, there is something called the galactic tag, I think it's called. Your galactic barcode, or something like that. It's basically a tag of everything that was everywhere, like located everywhere. The planetary alignment, the galactic alignment at your birth. It's everything. But yeah, I forgot why that was important. Okay. So let's get some more cards in here. King of Cups is a good card to have. Oh man. Y'all don't tell us how hard it is to do this. I don't know. It's like I'm trying to keep them together. Okay, so the Death card wants to fly out. But it came out with 2 cards. So. There you go. So we have the Page of Cups. Now this is a water card in the fire area, the fire or earth area. So, you know when there's too much water in the pot and you trying to boil you something? Is that food gonna come out good? Or is it gonna come out watered down? So that's what this is giving me. That's what this is giving me right now. But there's a fish here. There's a fish in this card, in his cup. And maybe that's why he's not cooking. There's something that you're trying to protect. Oh, yeah. And you have high emotion about it. But it could be something that's balancing you, but we'll find that out later. But it's water on this side and water on this side. The King and the Page. It's up to you to figure that out. I'm gonna leave that up to you. Uh-oh. So, I'll put these out in order that I saw them, because they just flew out. The Empress came back out. Wow. And the Empress is at this spot, which is the spirit. So, that's what she wanted to be. And 7, this is mine. Okay, so let's go to the domain of the spirit. So we talked about how some of the domains, you know, change according to what is what is affecting it. So what would change when it comes to your spirit? Your spirit is being powered by the Empress, or I should say, the Empress is playing the role of the spirit. These spaces right here, call them costumes in a play that's being acted out for you, the reader, and for us, the listeners in the audience, to be amazed by, you know. Then there are people who play roles, and the roles are the spaces that you see, and the people are the cards that you place down. So, King of Cups is gonna put on the costume of desire and act out this play. I hope that makes sense, but I have to move on. But when it comes to the Empress is an earth card, right? The spirit wants you to be more rooted. That's what I get with that. But you're getting helped out. You're getting help with that. But actually, it's a mental process. So, I'm looking all around because I have so many notes in places I can't keep up. Yeah. So, when it comes to the spirit, the fuel for the spirit is water. Empress is earth. Earth supports water. Right? So, this might not be a bad card to have here, because it is in support. So here's how the board is talking to you. And some information that you get is going to speak to you just with the elemental affinity in general. You might not even have to read for the cards. You can just look at the energy and say, okay, this energy is telling me this. And that's might be all we need to hear at that moment. You know, you're called to say certain things, and it's good to be prepared. So, the fuel for the spirit is water. The factor is the crown and your desire. Now, that should say soul to be very or more accurate. But you can understand how the crown would affect your desire. I mean, your spirit is affected by your soul and your desires. Oh God, I'm praying for clarity. Clarity right now, because I'm losing my focus. And the funny thing about that is I have very high focus when it comes to the things that I'm interested in. And I've written this out multiple times. And it's only the devil that stops me from actually giving it to y'all. Because this is something so powerful that's going to change a lot of lives. And it's going to, I guess, get that energy flowing. We kind of backed up. We stuck up. A lot of us. This world is crazy. None of us have forgiveness, truly. None of us can truly forgive anybody. We hold grudges forever. And we didn't come here to do any of that. But it's in our way. Yeah. That's one of the things that God wanted me to just say just now. So, yeah. The spirit, the domain of the spirit, has to do with the world of Bariya, which is the world of creation, and it's the faculty to feel, and your feelings come from here, right? All right, yeah, I said that correctly. So hopefully this gives you information on the Empress that you need right now. Obviously, the Empress you have your own information for the Empress. She tells you different things right now. She tells you different things all the time. But what is it telling you now? Oh man. I'm gonna just pluck the next card. That's what I'm gonna do. Page of Pentacles. Now, this is the place of the body, but let me explain the mind real quick before I forget. The mind, the fuel for the mind is air, naturally. Air comes from here, your heart. This is where you polarize, and this is the law, where the law of polarity operates. So, think of polarity as, imagine there's a sea of color, right? And just one day the colors just decided to group up with each other. The sea of color didn't really have a complete color to show you. It's just mush. It's probably just gray or black or whatever it is. But when they polarize to each other, you can actually see the colors. You can see it. So think of polarity as that. You organizing things to make sense of it. You expand the knowledge and you organize it to make sense of it. Yeah. The mind is the faculty of thinking. The mind has to do with the world of formation. Your psyche. The faculty of thinking. The fuel for the mind is air, as I just said, and the factor is your will. Now, what does that mean? Our minds constantly operate. But our will has to do with the actions that we take using our mind. We deliberate with our mind, but our will gets us to move and act on these things. And your will is the strength of your will is determined by the fire and the earth that you carry. So I hope this is making sense. So for the body, you have the fuel for it is naturally the earth, you know. That's a given, right? The factor is will and desire, because what you desire in your body is going to affect your body. And what you will to do with your body, what you want to do with your body, can affect your body too. So those are the two things that affect your body. Also your emotions and what you put into it. I hope that makes sense. So let's draw. Okay, so judgment card wanted to fly out, but it's everything, so I'm not gonna take it. It's too many cards. Okay, finally something shows itself. Let's see what it is. It's the King of Swords, and this is going in the right place. That's great. So when it comes up to air, the King of Swords is here right now, right? And what that means is your affinity is lined up. And that's a great sign, because we need that right now, because a lot of things are out of place. It's good to have something in order. Yeah, so as for the space of the air, you have the law of polarity, the sense of taste, the psychological function of love, the right to love, the challenge of grief, because that comes with love. When you don't, you miss out on it and all that other stuff. The objective is bliss. So what brings you bliss gets rid of your grief. The identity is the social one, and the chakra is the heart chakra, right? It's pretty self-explanatory when it comes to the chakras and the spaces, but the elements tell a different story. Did something just flip? No. I swear I'm seeing stuff. Okay. That came out automatically. This is the Tower, and it's on 10. The Tower is a fire card, and that's a great card to have. That's a great card to have in your fire area. But, the Tower, when people see it, they be like, oh, changes are coming. That's a great thing. Change is great. Change is like constant movement. And God loves that. God does not want you to be like in the same place. He got so much for you to do in this world. So to get you moving by destroying something that you created, if that's the thing that needed to happen, God is gonna find a way to do it. But God always has your back. So it's not like you ever are in trouble. But this world does not want you to know that. Put it that way. Yeah. So that's with the Tower's in the right place. So let's look at the energy of fire. The place of fire. When you're looking at fire, you're seeing the law of rhythm. Rhythm has to do with habits. Now your habits come from everywhere. Just think about it, right? But it's just sense of smell. The psychological function of will is will. It's the right to act. The challenge of shame, because sometimes shame is the thing that stops you from acting. If you are shameful of something that happened to you in the past, are you going to do it again? Because you might be ashamed again. But that's all people in your head, Sometimes it's not, or not sometimes. You shouldn't have shame in some of the things that you need to do for yourself, because you are literally trying to improve yourself. Don't have shame in those things. Like, I can be shameful of this whole process right here. It's not going to be the best video on YouTube, but it's the best video I ever made. And that I hold pride. I hold a sense of pride with that. You know. But the objective with shame is pride. Have pride in what you do. This way people can't step over you. They can't even enter your mind. They can't do it. Because you're doing it for yourself. Who's to say that you're not doing the right thing for you? You are your first judge. So let that judgment be something that's not going to hurt you. You listen to yourself more than anybody else. Yeah, that was that. But, yeah. The identity is the ego. So, the ego is another factor that messes with your rhythm, with your habits. So, your ego can say, I need to drink in order to do something. That's not true. It's just something you believe. And that's your ego's doing. Your ego believes in a lot of things. But your soul knows what you needed to do. Yeah. I think that explains that correctly. We're almost done. If you're still here, I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for bearing with me. Because I know you understand that this is something that can really help out a lot of people. And I believe I'm called to show it to everybody. I have an app lined up for this. So this is not even a complete product. This isn't actually a prototype. But I had to complete something in order to present it to you guys. To deem it worthy for me. This is something that I created that I can now present. I needed to complete it in this way. I needed to understand it completely. I needed to be on at least a level where I can understand what you're doing as a reader, as a listener, to present this to you. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me on my journey. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I'm looking... Oh, this one kind of popped out. And this goes up 11. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Not to say that this is in the wrong place, right? This is your water chakra. This is your sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is being powered or being acted out by the energy of air. Air and water are neutral to each other. So does it have an effect? It's like there's a lot of buildup that you're not using. So let's just say, imagine you're collecting so many seeds and never planting them. Because you're too much in your mind. And that's what these swords are telling me. But water is present here. You're on top of the water. So that could be significant for somebody. So it's like you understand that you have to travel. It's a long distance. Not lonely because you have family. But they don't look happy. This card, I never really liked this card. I never really understood it. This is one of the cards that never really spoke to me. But not when it's in your hands. Let me move on with that. Oh, almost forgot. Water. When you're looking at the space of water, you have the law of cause and effect. You have the sense to see. You have the psychological function of movement and connection. Now, connection has to do with feelings. You connect your feeling to something to get clarity. You can ask yourself a question. Am I hungry right now? Your body will say something. Your body will be like, your stomach will start rumbling. Yes, you're hungry. Feeling is more than just emotion. It's way more than just emotion. When it comes up to the body, it has to do with, what is this? Bile, this is blood, this is I forgot what this one was. Oh, when concerning the body, this is bile, this is yellow bile, this is black bile, yellow bile. I just looked at it. There's so much information. This is blood, and this is phlegm. Now, if you are a health professional or somebody who knows the knowledge, the information, phlegm is very important for the body. And when it comes to movement and connection, cause and effect, how important is phlegm to the signals that are in your body? Because electricity flows through water, and if your water's not, if you're not even in the water, you're not even they're using the water correctly. We don't know, because there's a lot of weight on this boat. But I don't want to get into it so much. Let's move on. Yeah, so this space is the right to feel and to want. This is the challenge of guilt, right? Shame and guilt run hand in hand, right? You are ashamed of something, so you might be... No. Guilt brings shame. I had it reversed. When somebody is accused of doing something, even if they didn't do it, it brings a sense of shame. But if you actually did do it, it will solidify that feeling of guilt. Like, oh man, I wish I shouldn't have did this. It's so like, oh, right? You have just remorse about certain things. But the objective when it comes to being guilty is find more things that make you feel or bring that energy of innocence. I like to bowl. Bowling brings me that sense of innocence. Like, I'm just having fun throwing this shit down the lane, and hopefully I hit all of them every time. It's innocent. And that's some of the things that you can do to bring on that sense, that energy of innocence, to get over the guilt. You don't have to actually do the reverse thing. So let's just say there are blockages in your mind as much as your body. Your mind is connected to your body like it's one item. So if there's something wrong with your heart, it might be something wrong with your mind. Your mind might be affecting your heart. Maybe you're thinking about something so terrible and terrifying that it's affecting your heart. Your heart thinks it's real. It's happening. And we gain habits to think these ways. And we are thinking negatively almost all day. We have so many things to think negatively about all day. And plus everything that's happening in this world right now, there's not much positivity constantly being thrown at you. There's a lot of negativity. You got wars, you got this, you got that. Am I gonna die when I breathe in this location? That was a thing that we had to worry about back in the day, until we learned about what was happening. Now here we are. Breathing easy. I almost said breathing in that good ass prana, but I ain't gonna do that. Yeah. For the water, this is your emotional identity, and the chakra is the sacral, right? This is not a water card. This is an air card, and it's neutral. So is it working for it? It requires a lot of action, but it also creates pressure. This is air in your water space. Imagine a tank when it's pressure. That valve open, there's something that's about to blow for you. There's something about to take off for you. That's what that gave me. You can take the information any way you understand it. I understand physics. I understand plumbing. I understand the forces of nature. So I'm going to be reading the forces of nature on the cards that I see. I might not understand everything about it, but the natural forces, God will speak to me to say something for somebody right now. Hopefully it helped you. Now, last but not least, we have the energy of Earth. Let me leave it for a flipper. Tilapia. Whiting. Sea bass. Red herring. Porgy. Why am I naming fish? This guy had a fish in his cup. There's the water right here. There's the King of Cups. Where's the other water? It's the Ace of Cups. What kind of harvest is coming for you? I don't know. What kind of harvest is coming? I just thought about mad different types of fish. I got a lot more. Godzilla just came up in my head, so we're gonna stop. We're gonna just move on. We're gonna just move on. Alright? This is the last card. Come on, God. Let's do it. Come on, Spirit. Gotta edit this. There you go. Okay. So, all this water. But this is the 5 of Cups in the space of your water. I mean, in the space of your earth. So, as I said before, water, fire, and earth have a high affinity with this whole side. Water and air have a high affinity with this side. This is the space of equilibrium and also represents that space of equilibrium on the tree of life. Right? Because you have the root Malkut, you have the crown right here, and you have Da'at, which is right here. And understand that the information folds in on itself. So when you divulge in information on this area, say the spring, you might end up over here at fire because it's just built that way. It's all connected. Don't think that you're getting lost. You're just going in a route that's lined up for you. You are meant to go there. The information will keep circling. When I was young, I kept feeling that my mind was going in circles. What if your mind operates in an actual circle? What if it operates as a circle, a dot? Like, what if? And this is what it looks like. This made so much sense to me because my mind was not going in circles no more. It was going in this shape. Crazy how this shape really helped me. And it's just geometry. And there's so much more to go into. Let's get to this earth because I could go on with this forever. Shout out to the people who are still here. I love you too. Thank you for being here. The earth has to do with the law of generation and gender, this sense to hear, the psychological function of survival and preservation, the right to have, the challenge of fear. So with fear, you have no movement. If you are afraid, you're not going to do anything. When you are less afraid, you move. When you are less afraid, you're not so afraid to feel, not so afraid to act, not so afraid to do the things that God brought you here to do. So express your heart, polarize in the world that you need to. We came here to do things. So let's just say, using our senses, we should be able to do something magnificent with only using what we came here with. Just our knowledge and who we are. We all have something to do in this world. Or not. You know, God sends you here to just live. But we're so misguided now. We ain't got no guidance. Yeah. But the objective, if you have fear, is courage and curiosity. that's kind of self-explanatory. You know, courage to do the thing, courage to face this. Curiosity is okay. You know how in the movie, when there's a creepy, scary sound somewhere, and the person goes to investigate, fearless. Because if I hear something that says, "Get out," yeah, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not gonna speak. Okay is the only thing that's gonna come out of my mouth. Can I get 2 days because I'm lazy? Can I get some time because I'm lazy? But that's it. It's these people with that amount of curiosity that got us far in this world. They had to be curious to explore. Explorers are some of the most curious people. Cats. Curiosity killed the cat. Right? But we thinking that we came in this world to fear. God did not give us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. Now, this is the mind. And when you fix the chakras, you understand that the sound is clear. Chakras are all about the musical notes, resonance, frequencies, everything. Right? When it comes up to let me read number 10 for you guys really quickly. The number 10 is on the rules. I'm sure you saw some of the rules as we went on. I wanted to try to fit all the information I could in here, as well as the presentation in general. You guys understand that I could not actually go in on the reading because there's so much to explain. You have to understand the structure and how to use it. But sometimes it can feel like it's elementary because I've been doing it for so long, and I can't assume that everybody's with me. Yeah. So that's where I am with this information. And it brings it up to the most beautiful part. You have spaces that can be clarified. So every 3 points create a shape. And you can create these shapes, but you can see them automatically. I've shown you 3 spaces already, but let me show you the last 3. Let me show you the first 3 first. I said this is the super ego, this is the id, which is the zodiac, and this is the ego. So why don't we just pluck? Oh wow. Oh, okay. Well, the Fool and the Hierophant was just flipped in the deck. I like the Fool card. I had to embody that energy in order to actually be here. Because there's a lot of my mind that says that, oh, maybe people won't even actually take to this. Maybe this is already here. I've looked for it. I cannot find this anywhere. I've looked for different tarot spreads. Most of the spreads are very basic. There are some like the Lenormand and the other ones that are on that caliber that actually do something significant and can hold a dense amount of information. But the other spreads are very like love oriented. Anybody got time for that? I'm trying to live. I'm trying to thrive. That's not just love from a person. Let's explain love real quick. When I got here, I think I understood love for real. But let me continue with these spaces of the here. So I explain love in a second, but let me show you how you get clarification to everything that's here. Nothing overlaps, but you can overlap it if you want. It makes perfect sense in the first go, and it will make perfect sense in the last go. with a whole full deck, you can put 6 cards on each place, except the spaces. But you know, you have multiple decks for that. You can use oracle cards. You can do whatever you need. Whatever you're called to do. But when it comes up to these 3 spaces, let me go ahead and plug for it right now and show you the reason behind it. So first, I'm gonna pick for the id, or the zodiac space, the space of your desire, your water, or your sacral energy, and your heart chakra. Okay, so they being funny with me right now. Let's see. Okay. I'm just gonna... yeah. That was this annoying. Alright. So, there's a lot of mental energy here. There's a lot of thinking here. There's a lot of thinking, a lot of trials. Wow. Did you choose the biggest one before you came down here to do? The 9 of Swords, that got me. And that's in the space of your zodiac. So, your zodiac affinity. I'm a Cancer sign, and this is an air. So, I'm neutral to all the pain that I have acquired during this journey. But it does hurt. That's what this tells me. I'm neutral to the air energy. Doesn't really affect me, but I recognize it. And it does take its toll. So if that resonates with you, you can understand how this will help. You know, hopefully that whole thing helped you out. And it has the right card, the right affinity card. And this is the King of Swords. So you have the King of Swords followed by this placement right here. Call us a sword master. Swords here. There's a lot of swords here. So this is the reason why I'm neutral to this right now. This is the reason why the trials haven't got me down. Because I've done the work. I've done the mental work. See, I'm saying because God's talking to me right now, and y'all just invited. Because we at the end of this presentation, and I know it was a lengthy one, and I'm sure that you'll have your questions, and you can put them in the comment below. I will read all of the comments because I'm looking for those questions that will get me to expand on this information more. I'm sure that there's a lot of information that you haven't seen here, but I'm also sure that it is here. And if it's not exactly on here, you already know that it's on the Tree of Life, and this is its twin. This is the source power of the Tree of Life. This is the definition of zero. This is the definition of the space we occupy. This is the shape of our soul. This is the shape of the forces that occupy our soul. Every line that you see here has a correspondence to the area and what it's doing. If you took a second look at the images I showed you before, I'm gonna just show it again. The Philosopher's Stone. Look at the tags in the areas. You have sulfur, salt, mercury, right? It's not even up on my computer right now. I'm just spitballing this information. Sulfur, salt, and mercury, right? That's alchemy. And that's on the Philosopher's Stone. And alchemy is also in Tree of Life. How much information can you put in this place as well as the Tree of Life? You'll come to know yourself that this is a perfection. Just like the Tree of Life. It was meant to be right with it. And this is the way it was meant to be read. I don't know why nobody looked at this, but let's take a closer look at it. My name is KyFy, and I'm glad you could be here. I'm glad you took the time to spend. I'm glad you took the time to learn this, because imagine what this can do to your channel. I believe that there is going to be the biggest wave of people who need help right now, and this is that thing that they're going to need help on. It's in the mind. The war right now, that third world war, even though it's happening in this world right now, it's mainly in your mind. It's mainly with the fears that they give you. Fear is no movement, but fear leads to no movement, and they have us in our fears, which means the only people who are moving are the people who know that they're good with God. God got their back, and the people who are in power. And you can see them how they moving. You see this big ass play that they got going on right now. Who is the director? We say it's Biden, but you know, why am I even talking about this? Let's move on from that. I just went deep in that. Yeah. So, the 9 of Swords. But I have the King of Swords in my energy. And that means that this doesn't really hurt me so much. That just means that I have lessons that I can use now. I can pick any one of these swords up and use them. But I decided to take them with me for some reason. Like I needed it. I needed the dead weight. Yeah. Okay. Let me just do this. I laughed when I saw this. The Tower and Death. Just right there. Death is water card. And since it's in the place of the ego, that definitely means ego death. Look at that right there. It literally means ego death. That's crazy. The word ego death just came out on the board, and I didn't even make that up. That's self-explanatory. I ain't even gotta say nothing about that. Ego death. Die ego, so your soul can live. Why am I? Okay. Now for the last card. It's known as the Gift. And this is the only card that you draw for the equilibrium space. And it's the only character, you can say, that has a free range to do anything. It can help everything or help nothing. It's a gift. You understand what your gifts can do. Call it a sword. You have a double-sided bladed sword, or whatever you want to call it. A double-edged sword. Yeah, thank you. You have a double-edged sword. You can swing it and hurt somebody, or miss-swing it and hit yourself too. You can take off your own finger as well as somebody else's. So understand that a gift is something you can use for good or bad for yourself. So, you know how they say, power, with great power comes great responsibility. And that's your gifts. You are this being of unlimited power that can do anything you want. Of course, there has to be rules before you can do anything you want. Yeah. Hopefully this is making a whole lot of sense. I want to get this in before I have to let you guys go. But hopefully you have the idea how this works. That's my goal. Alright, so I'm just going to draw for my gift right now. Hermit is that water or fire? That's earth. Good job. So earth, 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 water. It seems like it's a waterfall. That's crazy. You have an Ace of Cups here, coming from the ether. Imagine it as rain. You got this guy on top of the veil, waiting for a sign. This guy's at the veil. Your gift is not bound in the box. Your gift freely operates outside the box, meaning you can use your gift to do anything you want. Yeah. So, what does that mean? This Hermit card can go here to help this guy out. This Hermit card can go here, help this person out. This Hermit card can go anywhere to fix anything at any time. It is the card that kind of overlaps everything. It's the card that kind of helps everything. It's like the fifth man on basketball. I mean, sixth man. Sixth man. Fifth? Nah, I gotta look that up. I'm tired. Oh, I ain't even got my thing. So, when it comes up to your gift, this card is not bound by any placement. Yes, it's in a superconscious area, but your superconscious runs through everything. It's not limited. It's connected to everything. And the reason why it's the gift, this is the card of 9, the 9 card. And the funny thing about that, that's 9 right there. 3, 6, 9. That's so crazy. How many 9s are here? How many? Yeah, 8, 10. Oh, did I say that it was? Okay, might have skipped that one. But let's move on. As I said before, there's an assortment of oracle cards and different types of decks that you guys use, and you can run through this as many times as you want to get as much clarity as you need. And it would never overlap, meaning that all scenarios that you can think of will have a complete story. Any direction you decide to go can be completed. You're no longer will be reaching. There's no more reaching. You will, whatever direction you decide to go with any kind of thing that you are saying, you can guide yourself back. But because it's clear, because it speaks all to all perspectives. It shows every perspective. It shows all forces. It shows all domains and how they interact with each other. And this is all in your mind. And with that, I would like to conclude the mock reading. Now, what I would like to do is invite you to my extended version. This was already a long version, but I had to skip a lot of information because there's just too much to talk about at one time, and y'all don't know me like that. So yeah, I have information lined up in separate videos. Be sure to wait for the stay tuned for that. It'll be coming out soon, shortly. After this one is, up and running, I have everything situated. I'm gonna have videos tailored to each sign. I'm gonna have videos tailored to just the forces. I'm gonna have videos tailored to all the information that you bring to me with the comments. I'm looking to divulge on this Zin-Finity Board as much as possible. During, because it already started, I have contracts with app developers And this is why I have the GoFundMe in general. The app developer is Appsketeers. They're a great company. Oh man, I can't even wait till I see it, because they showed me some preliminary drawings and specs of what it's going to look like. And it just brings this whole thing to life. I might have presented it with a little lackluster, but the energies that you're going to get from this, the readers who are actually tapped to understand this right now, you guys have a special job, because you are the first. You guys are the first. So I can't wait to see what you guys bring. I can't wait to see what you guys say. Yeah. So you can choose to get the cards here in any way. This is how the reading is set up. It's a total of 16 cards, but for a regular reading, 13. And I've shown you the reasons. Of course, you're gonna find out more information. Of course, I didn't say everything. There will be an extended version. Stay tuned for that. But you can find my Cash App in the description box below. Also, any information that you would need to know will be there too. Anything that you would like to know, my email is below, but it's echokyber@gmail.com. You'll see it. My Cash App is KyFy369. That's also in the description below. Make sure to copy and paste that. Understand where the funds will be going. The Cash App is to my channel, and the GoFundMe is to the app strictly. I'm looking to get this out as soon as possible. I love the opportunity that I had today to actually speak this into existence. This is one of the first times I will actually do it, and I'm gonna go through with this. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say, and that's what I have for you today. My name is KyFy. It's good to see you. Peace. Live long.
Automatic freezing for effect.